Hi, Cindy. How are things going?
They're going pretty well. We had a pretty good day yesterday. The kids, were learning about multiplication. But I really wanted to meet with you just to kind of talk about something that's been going on in class with one of our students, Sam. I'm sure you've met Sam in the mornings. He's been
Hmm.
coming in kind of late a few days this week. And I've talked to some of his other teachers in art and in PE, and they've also kind of been seeing the same kind of observations where he's kind of refusing to participate in the activities, and in class, he's refusing to complete any of the assignments.
Hmm.
He's not coming to school prepared. He's not bringing pencils or his notebook that I gave him a couple weeks ago. And throughout the lesson, he's getting up to go to the trash can, to that he needs to go get water, that he needs to go to the restroom, without asking permission. I've also seen him talking to his uh, friends and everybody around him during the lesson, even when I've asked them to stop. And I mean, he has so many missing assignments that his grades are just not well. And I'm really worried about the rest of the year with Sam, and that's kind of wanted why I wanted to come and talk to you about that.
Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. We want to do everything we can to make sure Sam can be successful this year. Um, can you talk to me a little bit about what exactly the behavior is? If you've noticed, have you noticed any patterns in when these behaviors are occurring?
Well, I noticed that whenever it comes to math class, that's kind of when he starts refusing to complete the work.
Hmm.
He doesn't want to come to the rug during the lesson when we're doing whole group. He kind of wants to stay in his seat. And then when the kids have independent work at their table, he gets up, he moves around, he goes
Hmm.
and visits other tables. He starts maybe kind of even bothering them, um, and he just refuses to do any of the assignments during math class.
Well, I know that's really disappointing, and that can really severely affect someone's grade if they're not doing any of the work. From what you've been able to observe so far, do you feel like there's an issue with him not being on grade level right now? Do you have any background maybe from last year's teacher that could inform us about that?
Well, I know that the first day that he started school, whenever his mom dropped them off, she did tell me that she was worried about him in math. And so that kind of gave me kind of a little note to make sure I was catching up with him in math. And so the first few days he was fine. I think because it was the first few days of school, but I think once he started to get to know me and the students, that's kind of when he like all of the misbehaviors kind of started. But other than that, because he was a new student, I really didn't have much from his previous years, and it's kind of been difficult to really know where he's at because he's not completing the assignments in class.
Okay, I can see. Yeah, that does make it very difficult to know how, if we don't know where he is, it's obviously really hard to know where to meet him. Okay, let's see. So our next step would be to now think about some of the possibilities. Are you ready to change roles?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Well, now that we kind of talked about some of the things that are going on with Sam in class, why don't we start working on thinking maybe some things that can help him in class and help you as a teacher as well. Um,
I really
y-
appreciate that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, do you have any ideas of
I
something that
do.
you?
I do have a couple of ideas that I think might help us get back on track. As I mentioned before, lots of times Sam is coming in, he's not prepared to start the day, and I've reached out to his parents a couple times and haven't really had a satisfactory answer about some of the concerns. While his mother was forthcoming with some information about some struggles that he's had, I think we're not doing a great job communicating about the importance of arriving to school on time with all the materials. So I was hoping that you might be able to step in and maybe give the parents a call to express the importance of this so they understand that it is important that Sam arrive at school on time with all of his materials. Um, I would
Yes,
really appreciate it if you could help me with that.
yes, that is something that we can do, and I'll make sure
Great.
that we give mom or dad a call in the morning tomorrow. That way we can see what's going on and why he's been tardy so many days, and what's going on, how we can help.
I appreciate that. And I was thinking that we might be a little bit more proactive. As I mentioned, Sam doesn't, will often not have his notebook, or he won't have pencils ready to go. And those types of things can just exacerbate an already not ideal situation. So I was hoping that we could coordinate with our social worker to see about getting him a backpack filled with the supplies that he needs that he can keep at school. Do you think that we could get that done?
Yes, and I think, right after this meeting, I think we can try to see if she can come in and we can talk to her just so that we can do that as soon as possible because we really do want him to feel prepared, right, for class as well. That's a wonderful idea.
Right. I know it's so hard for, kids when they come in and they're already running behind and then don't have a pencil, and then it's just really hard to focus. So I'm hopeful that those two interventions will help us, but I have been trying to give some thought as to what the behavior is that I feel is the priority to address. And as you can see, when I'm talking to you about calling the parents about tardiness and calling the parent and getting the backpack together, I really feel like a lot of this comes down to not being prepared. So in my class, I would like to implement a behavior contract with Sam, where we're reinforcing being prepared for lessons regularly to try to really develop that habit for him before we start looking at other things. Um,
Yeah, that's a really wonderful idea. And in fact, what I might do is I might ask our other administrator, Ms. Gonzalez, to come into class and maybe just kind of observe him, just to kind of see what's going on. Maybe when you're doing the lesson, when you're working with other students, what is Sam doing? And
mhm.
maybe just talk to him after. I think that'll be great. That way we can kind of have more data on him in class. Would that
That's
be
a
okay if she
fantastic
comes
idea.
in?
I would welcome the opportunity for her to come in and watch Sam, because at this point, I really do not have a clear understanding of what's motivating this behavior. I mean, it could be something. I understand, he's tired and running late and all those kinds of things. But if there's something bigger or something different, I'd really appreciate Mrs. Gonzalez coming in and giving her perspective. So that would be wonderful. And hopefully we won't need to move to this step, but would you be open to maybe doing a check-in, check-out with Sam?
Yes,
If
I think, yeah, I think so. I think once we, start with the backpacks and once we have Ms. Gonzalez coming in and observe and have him look at the behavior contract with you, and then we can also have Ms. Gonzalez join us as well. That's so that just so that he feels supported and he kind of understands, that we're trying to help him and trying to help the teacher and get everyone on board. And once we start all of that and that kind of starts rolling in, I think the next step would probably be to start doing a check-in and check-out with either another teacher or, another administrator, just to kind of check in on him every day.
that would be great, because I have seen he loves Mr. Smith in PE. He loves going and he loves interacting with him. And I'm just saying, I mean, I know we may not need to get to that step, but if so, I know that it would be really powerful for Sam to have that as an option
And
too.
and I know Mr. Smith would be happy to help in any way as well. So that would be great.
Great.
Yeah. So we'll contact him and let him know, just in case, we need
Hmm.
to start a check-in and check-out. Yeah, that sounds great.
Great. So I
So
feel
I'll
really
I'll
good.
let Miss so I'll let our social worker know about the backpack, and I'll let Miss Gonzalez know about coming in and doing a couple observations on Sam. And tomorrow morning we'll call home to see what's going on with his tardiness and anything that we need to help out with at home. That sounds great.
All right. And then we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know how everything is going. Hopefully by this time next week, things will be
Yeah,
great, and everything will be seamless, and he'll be back on track.
yeah,
But
and
I'll
I'll
keep
check
you
in with
updated
you
on that.
too. I'll check in with you that way you can let me know. All right.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
thank you. Thank you. All right. See you later.
Bye. See ya.